About a year and a half ago, I reviewed the original Home Alone for the NES. Don't ask me why I did it in the middle of August, I have no idea, and that was a long time ago. Home Alone was an abomination of a game, marred by a horrible soundtrack, bland gameplay, and a severe lack of a certain quality known as fun. Overall, Home Alone was a game best avoided. But it's Christmas, and that means it's time for more festive movies, eggnog, and gifts. My gift to you this year is a review on Home Alone 2. If you want to know what I think about it in a nutshell, it's this. They didn't fix much. For those who have never seen Home Alone 2, and shame on you, it's once again about Kevin McAllister, the boy who just can't get a break. This time he does manage to go on vacation with his family, but accidentally boards the wrong plane, ending up in New York City. Alone once again, he runs into the wet bandits and must set traps up in his uncle's abandoned house to stop them from robbing the biggest toy store in New York City. I feel that this movie was arguably better than the original, and the game as well, but not by much. Home Alone 2 starts off with a short cutscene showing Tim Curry's character calling the police about the credit card that Kevin was using that had belonged to his father. The game starts with the hotel manager chasing Kevin, and if you, as Kevin, don't move quickly, the manager will grab and shake you to death. What the fuck is this supposed to be anyway? And that's just the start of the awfulness that is Home Alone 2. As opposed to the puzzle elements of the first game, and that's using the genre of a puzzler loosely because I don't know what else to fucking call it, Home Alone 2 is attempting to emulate an action game. Again, that's being generous, because there's not really much action in the game. There's a lot of running away from and dodging enemies though, so I guess there's action in that. Most enemies do deal damage to your health, but certain ones, like the hotel manager, fat guys, and fucking vacuums, will kill you upon contact. Seriously, guys at THQ? Vacuum? How does a vacuum manage to suck up a freaking kid? This isn't a toddler we're talking about. It's about a 10 to 12-year-old. I can see possibly tripping over it, but completely sucking Kevin's upper half into the machine? What the fuck? And that's not the strangest thing either, which is sad enough. About halfway through the first floor you're on, a guard starts throwing objects at you. One of which is a key. Now, it also looks like he's throwing bombs at you, which naturally you're going to want to avoid. But stay away from that key too, because it's the key from hell. It will fucking hurt you. If you've already played the game, to which I'm apologetic, or watched other reviews on Home Alone 2, you've probably already seen or have experienced the most confusing end of a hallway ever. You get to this set of elevators, of which a shit ton of suitcases are either being slid or thrown out of it. You can't enter it, and you can't backtrack, so where do you go? It's simple, really. You have to stand on that plant and keep mashing the controls, that's what. Why the hell do you need to do this? Why not press it once and wait patiently for the elevator to arrive? Why should you need to practically spam the up button to oblivion just to get an elevator to appear? And once it appears, you're not done with the hotel from hell yet. Basically, there's about 5 random floors you can be put on, although each one is required to be cleared before you hit the final floor. What you need to do, because it makes total fucking sense, is run to the end of the floor, run back to the elevator you came from, and enter it. What? Why? What is the point of this? Granted, it's helpful to enter each room on the floor to grab the power-ups, but what the hell is the point of running to the end of the floor, kissing the wall, and then running back to enter the elevator again? Why not just board the elevator? And you need to do this at least 5 times. You know what would have been easier? The fucking stairs? Then when you reach the 6th floor, you manage to enter the service elevator, which takes you to the kitchen. Here's where the game gets cryptic again. The fat guys previously can't be defeated or stunned. This fat guy is wearing a blue suit instead of the white, so you figure he'd be a bit different, right? Well, sort of. He still can't really be stunned, but you need to defeat him by using the flying fist weapon twice in quick succession. Basically, you need to shoot him in the balls once to get him to bend over, and then a second time while he's bent over to knock him out. If you're not fast enough, you're just wasting your shots. And if you run out, there's no way to get more other than dying. What a load of bullshit! The game is basically punishing you for not knowing how to properly defeat him. If you're actually playing this on an NES, you probably didn't have a guide or walkthrough, so it probably would have taken a lot of agonizing trial and error to figure this one out. After killing the fat guy, you have to run through the kitchen, avoiding the steam blasts, falling pans, and food slices. Okay. let's pause for a second here. So we have a chef slicing up some food. If you hit the chef, that hurts you, but that's probably because he stabs you with a knife. But the food, it looks like sushi to me. Is it not done right? Is it so toxic that Kevin gets food poisoning without even ingesting it? Seriously, what was in the minds of THQ when they decided on the final enemy roster? Let's take a roll call of what we have already seen. We have the purple-clad hotel manager. We have fat guys. We have the baggage attendants. We have old ladies jumping around at you with umbrellas. There's the suitcases and deadly keys. There's maids throwing pillows at you. Real threatening. We also can't forget about the vacuums. And then the food slices. To cap it all off, you have a chef as a boss that also works as a stripper at night. No, seriously, when you slide into him, he takes off his clothes. I guess that the flashing damage animation or a health bar was just too much work, so they made the chef a stripper. Given the looks of him, he's probably not one of the stars that works the weekends. Once you kill the chef, you have to kill the hat. This isn't done by sliding into it, but instead by jumping on it. Hold on. Everywhere else in the game, you can't jump on enemies to defeat them. But now you can? And it's only for the fucking hat. Once you do kill it, and be sure to because it can hurt you, somehow, it'll become a pizza to give you an extra life. You can then finally escape the hotel and run right into Central Park. Now, here's something I don't remember from the movies. In the beginning of the game, Marv and Harry are calling an unnamed thug, and they ask about the rest of the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't Marv and Harry the only ones working together? It's been a few years since I've watched Home Alone 1 or 2, but I don't remember a whole gang being involved. In any case, in Central Park, Kevin has to run around dodging mice, rats, and thugs chucking apples at you. Is this seriously all they can come up with? Why not knives? Was THQ trying to avoid violence? And the game decides to get confusing here too. It never really explains what objects are platforms and what are just environmental art. Let's go back to the hotel again. All of the couches you can stand on. However, there's one here where you can bounce higher than normal. Is this a glitch or a purposed oversight? Same here in the park. You can actually jump and climb up a few of these lampposts later on in the stage, but not these in the beginning. In fact, you can also jump into the tree here to grab a few pizza slices. If you can manage to figure out exactly what things you can jump on. A bit later on, you get to the massive wall that needs to be scaled. It's here where you can climb the lampposts, although there's no real indication that you can, other than seeing the different colored bricks above. Getting up there is a pain in the ass, though. You climb the pole and then have seizures to the top of the light. You can then jump up there and realize how shitty the platforming of this game really is. Many of the bricks can be fallen through if you're not standing in the center of them. Some of the jumps require you to be at the end of the brick, so you need to be careful. You can't just jump at the very edge though, otherwise you'll just fall off of it. Continuing on, you'll eventually jump off of the building to the park below. Okay, so how does a key and sushi kill Kevin, but not a jump from the room of some random building? What the fuck is wrong with this game? And even better, once you get to the sewer, you see pigeons down there! Not the same rats and bats you were seeing topside. Fucking pigeons! Dropping worms on you! What the fuck is going on here? Finally, I did somehow manage to get to the third stage with one life left. I tried going up the stairs marked up, but with no success. See these boards here across the gap? They look like platforms. Or not! Fuck this game! What's awesome about Home Alone 2 is the fact that when the game says game over, you can press start to continue. Thank God some continues. Psych! The game fucks with you by saying, oh yeah, you can continue, just not where you ended. You start at the beginning. You continue just by playing the game. Well, fuck you THQ, and fuck you Home Alone 2! Finally, Kevin's look. Thankfully, everything looks a bit better than the previous game, but it's still not the most aesthetic looking game ever. Is it me or does Kevin look like he's wearing a bike helmet? And how pathetic is that life counter? Is it me or does it look like Chris Griffin from Family Guy? Maybe I've just been watching too much Family Guy. Actually, one more thing to note. The pickups. There's several, and almost all of them are hidden and shown only by jumping in the most random of spots. The cookies and pizza slices are used for health and lives, respectively. but you need to collect 5 cookie batches and 6 pizza slices to obtain the reward. There's a few weapons available, but all of them suck. But what I really want to talk about before I end this dreadful video is the bell and the aftershave. First, the aftershave. It renders Kevin completely invulnerable and also allows him to run at Sonic the Hedgehog speeds. This is actually pretty helpful, but the bell is even better. It allows you to do a spinning jump that kills almost every enemy until you take damage yourself. What the fuck does this bell have to do with Home Alone? And why is Kevin suddenly a freaking killer gymnast? Somebody please explain this shit to me! Home Alone 2 should be avoided at all costs. It's not a good game. I wish I had the patience to sit through it and complete it to the end to see what other shittiness awaits me, but I can't do it anymore. I've had enough. Home Alone 2 is still a bit better than the original Home Alone, but it's not by much. Just find a better game to play for the holidays. Final score? 3 out of 10. Have a Merry Christmas, guys. If you don't celebrate Christmas, then enjoy whatever holiday you do pay attention to. Just do me a huge favor. If you manage to get this game as a gift for whatever reason, punch whoever gave it to you in the teeth. They fucking deserve it. And now that I'm done with this review, this is how I feel.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?